The stars shone bright and clear from the lunar observatory. Commander Eliza Carter stood at the main viewing window, gazing at Earth floating in the blackness of space. The blue planet looked peaceful from up here. No one could see the wars, the pollution, or the struggles of 8 billion people trying to live together. Eliza checked her watch. 3 more hours until her shift ended. The International Space Defense Coalition had built this observatory 5 years ago. Its main job was to watch for asteroids, but everyone knew they were really looking for something else, something they didn't talk about in public. A soft beep came from the main console. Eliza walked over expecting another piece of space rock to track. Instead, she saw a pattern on the screen she had never seen before. The computer couldn't identify it. "Hey Jeff, come take a look at this," she called to her assistant, who was checking equipment in the next room. Jeff Allen hurried in, coffee cup in hand. He set it down and leaned over the console. His eyes widened. "That's not natural," he said, quietly. "That's a signal." Eliza felt her heart rate increase. "From where?" Jeff tapped on the keyboard, bringing up more data. "According to these readings, it's coming from just beyond Mars' orbit. But there's nothing there, at least nothing we know about." They stared at each other for a long moment. The implications were clear. This was what the ISDC had been secretly preparing for since its creation. Eliza reached for the red phone that connected directly to ISDC headquarters in Geneva. "This is Commander Carter at Lunar Base Alpha. We've received a signal. I repeat, we've received a signal. Non-terrestrial origin confirmed." Within an hour, the observatory was filled with specialists. Dr. Samuel Wright arrived on the first emergency shuttle from Earth. As the Coalition's lead xenolinguist, he had spent 15 years developing systems to decode potential alien communications. Now he would finally test his life's work. "It's repeating," Eliza explained as Sam set up his equipment. "Every 8 minutes and 12 seconds, the exact same sequence." Sam nodded, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "That's good. Repetition helps with decoding. What's interesting is the mathematical sequence at the beginning. Look here. These are prime numbers followed by what appears to be atomic structure information." "A universal language," Eliza said. "Like we would use to communicate with an unknown intelligence." "Exactly," Sam replied, not looking up from his work. "They want to be understood." For 3 days, Sam barely left the communications lab. Food trays piled up beside him as he worked through the alien message with his team. Other specialists arrived hourly on shuttles from Earth. The observatory, usually home to only 12 people, now housed over 40. On the morning of the 4th day, Sam called Eliza and the other senior staff to the conference room. His face was pale and dark circles surrounded his eyes. "We've decoded the message," he said, his voice flat. "It's not good." He turned on the screen, showing a series of symbols translated into English text. "Your species has been deemed unworthy. Prepare for assimilation or extinction. You have 1 solar cycle to respond." The room fell silent. General Richard Owens, who had arrived from ISDC headquarters the previous day, spoke first. "Could there be a mistake in the translation?" Sam shook his head. "We've checked it multiple times. The meaning is clear." 1 solar cycle, Eliza said. "That gives us about a year." "Yes," Sam confirmed. 365 days from when we received the message." General Owens stood up. "I need to contact the Security Council immediately. This information doesn't leave this room until we decide how to inform the governments of Earth. But keeping the message secret proved impossible. Strange things began happening all over the planet. Satellite communications failed randomly. Animals behaved oddly. Birds flew in perfect geometric formations, and whales beached themselves in unprecedented numbers. Most concerning were the patterns that appeared in the atmosphere, geometric shapes visible briefly before fading away, like someone testing Earth's response. Within a week, rumors spread across the internet. Conspiracy theories multiplied. People claimed to have been contacted by aliens or to have seen strange ships in the sky. President Olivia Bennett of the United States called an emergency meeting with other world leaders. After 20 hours of debate, they reached a decision. The public needed to know. Eliza watched the broadcast from the Lunar Observatory alongside her colleagues. President Bennett sat at her desk in the Oval Office, her expression grave. "My fellow citizens, people of Earth, I come to you today with extraordinary news." The president paused, taking a deep breath. "We are not alone in the universe, and we have received a communication that suggests we may soon face our greatest challenge as a species." As the president explained the situation in simple terms, Eliza could see the other staff members' worried faces. No one knew how the public would react. The response varied across the globe. Some cities saw panic. Stores emptied of supplies, traffic jams as people fled urban areas, and religious gatherings predicting the end times. Other places remained calm, with people going about their daily lives as if nothing had changed. 3 days after the announcement, Eliza received new orders. She was to return to Earth immediately to join a special response team at ISDC headquarters in Geneva. As her shuttle approached Earth, Eliza looked down at the familiar continents and oceans. The planet seemed smaller somehow, more fragile. For the first time in human history, everyone shared the same threat. Old conflicts and divisions suddenly seemed meaningless. The ISDC campus buzzed with activity when she arrived. Armed guards stood at every entrance. Inside, scientists, military personnel, and government officials rushed through hallways carrying stacks of papers and equipment. General Owens met her at the door to the main conference room. "Commander Carter, glad you made it. We're assembling the best team possible." Inside, she recognized several faces. Sam Wright sat near the front, talking with Dr. Grace Miller, a leading xenobiologist. Next to them was Kevin Dunn, a former hacker who now worked in cybersecurity, and Dr. Lisa Franklin, an expert in psychological warfare. "Ladies and gentlemen," General Owens called the room to attention, "you represent the best minds humanity has to offer. Your mission is simple but crucial. Find a way to respond to this threat. We need options beyond simple surrender or hopeless resistance." Eliza took her seat as the briefing began. On the wall screen, analysts showed everything they knew about the message and the strange events happening worldwide. It wasn't much to go on. As the meeting continued into the night, Eliza looked around at the tired but determined faces. None of them had asked for this responsibility. Yet here they were planning how to save their species from a threat they barely understood. Outside the high windows of the conference room, stars twinkled in the night sky. Somewhere out there, an alien civilization had targeted Earth. They had given only one warning, and now humanity needed to find an answer before time ran out. 7 days after the world learned about the alien message, Captain Noah Martinez climbed into his fighter jet. The morning sun glinted off the wings of his F-38 Lightning. As the Air Force's top test pilot, Noah had been chosen to lead the high-altitude patrols around Earth's upper atmosphere. "All systems check complete," said the voice of flight control in his earpiece. "You are cleared for takeoff, Falcon 1. Noah pushed the throttle forward. The jet roared down the runway and lifted into the sky. 5 other jets followed him, forming a protective pattern. Their mission was simple: watch for any signs of the aliens who had sent the warning. "Beautiful day up here," Noah said as he reached cruising altitude. The sky had turned from blue to deep indigo. At this height, he could see the curve of the Earth. "Stay alert, Falcon 1, flight control responded. "Satellite tracking shows unusual activity in your sector." Noah checked his radar. Nothing showed. Whatever the satellites had seen, his instruments couldn't detect it. "I've got clear skies," he reported. "No visual or radar contact with—" A bright flash of light cut him off. Noah blinked, momentarily blinded. When his vision cleared, he saw something impossible. A ship hovered in front of him. It wasn't like any aircraft he had ever seen. It had no wings or visible engines. It simply floated there, a smooth, dark object shaped like a teardrop. "Flight control. I have visual contact with an unidentified craft," Noah said, fighting to keep his voice steady. It just appeared out of nowhere. His radio crackled with static. The other jets in his formation called out in confusion. They could see it too. The alien ship wasn't alone. Noah looked down at Earth and saw dozens of massive objects materializing in orbit. Each one was enormous, bigger than aircraft carriers, bigger than cities. They had somehow bypassed all of Earth's early warning systems. The Galactic Empire had arrived. The small ship in front of Noah moved closer. He tensed, ready to take evasive action. Instead of attacking, the ship projected a beam of light. Within the light, a figure appeared. It looked almost human, but not quite. Its proportions were wrong, and its skin had a bluish tint. "Captain, Noah Martinez of Earth," the figure spoke in perfect English. "I am Emissary 12 of the Hegemony. Your species has been observed for 3 of your centuries." Noah's throat went dry. "How do you know my name?" "We know all who hold positions of authority on your planet," the emissary said. "You have been judged as divisive, wasteful, and prone to self-destruction. The Empire requires your resources and genetic material. Resistance would be inefficient." As the emissary spoke, Noah noticed something odd. The alien hesitated at certain points, almost like someone reading from a script they didn't fully believe in. "This is not my decision alone to make," Noah replied carefully. "I need to connect you with our leaders." "Your global communication systems are now under our control," the emissary stated. "We will address your entire species simultaneously. You have 48 hours to offer your unconditional surrender. After that time, we will begin the process of resource extraction, regardless of your decision." At ISDC headquarters, alarms blared as the alien ships appeared on their tracking systems. Eliza Carter and the response team gathered in the command center, watching in horror as the massive vessels took position around Earth. "They've hacked into our communication networks," Kevin Dunn shouted over the noise. The former hacker's fingers flew across his keyboard. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, all channels. Every device on Earth is receiving their message." On screens around the world, the face of Emissary 12 appeared. The same message Noah had heard was now being delivered to all of humanity. Dr. Grace Miller studied the alien's features carefully. "Look at its micro-expressions," she said to Eliza. "See the slight movement around the eyes? In human body language, that suggests inner conflict." Eliza nodded. "You think it's not fully committed to this message?" "It's possible," Grace replied. "If they've been studying us for centuries, they might have adopted some of our communication patterns, including our tells when we're uncomfortable with what we're saying." General Owens joined them, his face grim. "The Security Council is meeting in 5 minutes. We need options." Sam Wright, who had been listening to the alien message in multiple languages, looked up from his computer. "What if we request more time? Not to surrender, but to learn about them." "A cultural exchange," Grace agreed. "It's unexpected. They might be curious enough to agree." Eliza considered the idea. "It could buy us time to learn more about their weaknesses." General Owens frowned. "That's a big gamble. Less of a gamble than immediate surrender or trying to fight ships that can appear and disappear at will," Eliza pointed out. The general nodded slowly. "I'll take it to the council." Across the globe, reactions to the alien ultimatum varied widely. Some governments immediately called for surrender. Others began mobilizing their militaries, despite the obvious technological gap. Religious leaders prayed for salvation. Ordinary people either panicked or watched in stunned silence. President Bennett addressed the American people from an underground bunker. "We are exploring all options," she said, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "I ask you to remain calm and to support each other during this unprecedented crisis." 12 hours later, the United Governments of Earth sent their response. They did not offer surrender. Instead, they requested a cultural exchange to better understand the Empire's society and needs. It was a desperate move, but they had few alternatives. To everyone's surprise, the Empire agreed. A delegation would be permitted to board the command ship. The alien seemed almost amused by the request, as if humoring a child. Noah Martinez was flying back to base when he received new orders. Due to his direct contact with the emissary, He would join the Earth delegation going to the alien ship. His hand shook slightly as he landed his jet. When Noah arrived at ISDC headquarters, he found Eliza Carter overseeing preparations for the mission. "Captain Martinez," she greeted him. "Welcome to the team." "Commander." He nodded. "Never thought I'd be part of a first contact delegation." "None of us did," she replied. "We leave in 6 hours. Dr. Wright and Dr. Miller will join us along with Major Alan Peterson from Special Forces." "Why a soldier?" Noah asked. "The Major insisted," Eliza said. "And frankly, we might need his skills." The 5 humans prepared, as best they could for the unknown. They studied the limited information they had about the alien ships. They practiced potential first contact scenarios. They recorded messages for their families, just in case. As they boarded the shuttle that would take them to the alien command ship, Eliza looked at her small team. A pilot, a linguist, a biologist, a soldier, and herself. Not exactly the group she would have chosen to represent humanity in its most critical moment. But they were what Earth had. "Remember," she told them, "we're buying time. Learn everything you can about them. Look for weaknesses and stay alert." The shuttle rose through Earth's atmosphere. Above them, the massive alien ship waited, its dark surface reflecting the stars. Noah guided the shuttle toward the indicated docking area. As they approached, a section of the ship's hull simply disappeared, revealing an entrance. "Here we go," Eliza said quietly. First humans to board an alien vessel. The shuttle passed through the opening and into the unknown heart of the Galactic Empire. The inside of the alien ship was unlike anything the humans had imagined. The walls glowed with a soft blue light. The air felt strange, thicker than Earth's, but somehow easier to breathe. There was no sound, except for the humans' footsteps and breathing. Eliza led the small group forward. Noah stayed close behind her, with Sam, Grace, and Major Peterson forming a protective triangle. They had been left alone after their shuttle docked. No aliens had come to greet them. "Anyone else? Find this creepy?" Noah whispered. Major Alan Peterson nodded, his hand never far from where his sidearm would normally be. They had come unarmed as a show of peaceful intentions, but the soldiers' instincts remained on high alert. "They're watching us," Grace said, quietly, probably testing our reactions. As if responding to her words, a section of the wall slid open. A tall figure stepped through. It wasn't Emissary 12, but something entirely different. This alien stood over 7 feet tall with 4 arms and skin that shifted colors like an octopus. Its eyes, 3 of them, studied the humans with clear intelligence. "I am Guide 7, it said in a voice that sounded like several people speaking together. "You will follow." The humans exchanged glances before following the alien through the opening. The corridor beyond twisted in ways that seemed to defy normal geometry. After several minutes of walking, they entered a large, circular room. Inside waited several different alien beings. None looked alike. Emissary 12 stood in the center. Seeing the alien up close, the humans realized it wasn't as human-like as it had appeared in the projection. Its features were too perfect, like a computer's idea of a human face. "Welcome to the Dominion Vessel Prime," the emissary said. "You requested cultural exchange. We will permit limited interaction." Sam stepped forward. "Thank you for this opportunity. We hope to learn about your society and share information about our own." "Your society is already known to us," the emissary replied. "It is inefficient, chaotic, and primitive." Grace noticed again the slight hesitation in the emissary's speech. "Yet you've agreed to this meeting," she pointed out. "You must be curious about us in some way." The emissary's face remained blank. "The collective leadership wishes to understand why your species resists the inevitable. It will make future assimilations more efficient." Major Peterson spoke up for the first time. "So we're not the first civilization you've encountered?" "You are the 47th sentient species cataloged by the Empire," the emissary stated. 22 have been successfully integrated." Eliza did the math quickly. "And the other 24? The emissary didn't answer directly. Some resources cannot be efficiently harvested from resistant populations. The message was clear enough. The humans exchanged uneasy glances. We would like to learn more about these other species, Sam said. And about the structure of your empire. The emissary gestured to the diverse aliens in the room. You may interact with these specimens. Each represents a successfully integrated civilization. The humans spread out, each approaching different aliens. Grace found herself drawn to a small creature with translucent skin. Through it, she could see organs glowing with different colors. Hello, she said gently. I'm Grace. The alien blinked large liquid eyes. Designation 897, it replied in a musical voice. Former botanical specialist of the Luminar. The Luminar? Is that your species? Was, the small alien. Corrected. Now we are Empire. As Grace spoke with the alien, she noticed something odd. When Emissary 12 looked away, the small alien's speech pattern changed subtly. It became more natural, less robotic. Across the room, Major Peterson was speaking with a hulking alien that resembled a reptile walking on two legs. Its scales gleamed like metal. Your military capabilities, the reptilian alien said. They are insufficient. Peterson nodded. We know we can't match your technology. The alien leaned closer. When it spoke again, its voice was lower. Technology is not everything, some of us remember. Remember what? Peterson asked quietly. The alien glanced around, then quickly pressed something into Peterson's hand. Freedom, it whispered, before, straightening up and resuming its formal tone. Your weapons would be classified as primitive tools in Imperial archives. Peterson slipped the small object, some kind of data device, into his pocket without looking at it. Meanwhile, Sam was attempting to understand the Empire's language and social structure. The aliens he spoke with gave mechanical answers about efficiency and resource optimization. Whenever he asked about art, music, or philosophy, they responded with confusion or dismissal. Such pursuits are inefficient, one told him. Energy, better directed to productive tasks. Noah had found himself talking with an alien that floated in a small anti-gravity field. It had once been an explorer from a water-based civilization. Did you explore space before the Empire found you? He asked. Limited exploration. 3 neighboring systems only, the floating alien replied. Empire has mapped thousands of systems, much more efficient. Eliza circulated among the aliens, gathering impressions and information. After what felt like hours, the emissary announced the exchange was complete for the day. The humans would be shown to quarters where they could rest. As they followed Guide 7 through more twisting corridors, Grace fell into step beside Eliza. Something's wrong with these aliens, she whispered. Their biology shows signs of neural manipulation. I think they're being controlled. Eliza nodded slightly. I noticed their behavior changes when the emissary isn't watching directly. Peterson, Eliza called quietly. The major moved closer. Did you notice anything unusual? He patted his pocket discreetly. We need to talk privately. Their quarters turned out to be a large room with strange furniture that adjusted to human shape when touched. Once Guide 7 left them alone, Peterson pulled out the device. One of them gave me this, he said. Mentioned freedom when no one was listening. Sam examined the device carefully. It looks like some kind of data storage. We have nothing to read it with. Maybe we do, Noah suggested, pointing to a panel on the wall that resembled a computer. Interface. The humans debated whether to try using the alien technology. It could be a trap, or it could provide essential information. I'll do it, Grace volunteered. I've been watching how they interact with the ship's systems. She approached the panel cautiously. Following what she had observed, she pressed her palm against it. The panel lit up, displaying symbols none of them recognized. Grace carefully inserted the device into a slot that seemed designed for it. The lights in their quarters dimmed. A holographic image appeared in the center of the room. It showed an alien different from any they had seen so far. If you are viewing, this you have met our resistance, the alien said in a whispered voice. We are not all willing servants of the Empire. Many of us remember our freedom. The humans gathered around the hologram as it continued. The Empire is not as united as it appears. The neural control is not perfect. Some of us can still think our own thoughts when the control signals weaken. The alien explained how the Empire functioned. A central species that had developed technology to control other civilizations after conquering them. They used the controlled species as workers, soldiers, and resources. Your species is different, the hologram continued. Your brain structure may be resistant to their control methods. You could be valuable allies. The message ended with coordinates for communication and a warning to destroy the device after viewing. The humans looked at each other as Peterson crushed the small device under his boot. A resistance, Eliza said quietly. We're not just fighting for ourselves. If what it said is true, Sam added, there might be a way to disrupt their control systems. And if it's a trap? Major Peterson asked. Noah shrugged. Then we're no worse off than before. Grace looked thoughtful. I need to get samples, she said. If I can study their biology, maybe I can find evidence of how the control works. Eliza nodded. Tomorrow we continue the cultural exchange. Everyone gather as much information as possible. Look for weaknesses, and watch for potential allies. As the humans settled into the strange alien furniture to rest, Earth continued its rotation far below, unaware that its fate might rest on a small resistance movement within the very empire that threatened it. The human delegation returned to Earth after 3 days aboard the alien vessel. Their shuttle landed at ISDC headquarters, where armed guards escorted them directly to a secure meeting room. President Bennett was waiting, along with General Owens and leaders from other major nations. What did you learn? The president asked once everyone was seated. Eliza stood to address the room. The Empire is not what we thought. It's not a single species, but a collection of conquered civilizations controlled by a dominant race. And there's a resistance movement working against them. She explained everything they had discovered, the neural control systems, the various alien species, and the message from the resistance. As she spoke, Grace distributed copies of her biological findings, while Sam shared his language analysis. The most important discovery, Grace said, is that human brains may be resistant to their control technology. The resistance believes we could be valuable allies because of this. So we fight? General Owens asked. Major Peterson shook his head. Not directly. Their technology is still far beyond ours. But we have something they don't expect. Information about their weaknesses. We need a plan, President Bennett said. Something that uses our strengths against their vulnerabilities. For the next week, Earth's leaders and top minds worked around the clock. The deadline for surrender was approaching fast. In 10 days, the Empire would begin their resource extraction, whether humanity surrendered or not. 3 distinct strategies emerged. First, they needed a way to disrupt the Empire's control over its subjugated species. Second, they needed to contact and coordinate with the resistance. And third, they needed to prepare Earth's defenses in case everything else failed. Kevin Dunn led the first effort. The former hacker had been analyzing the communication patterns from the alien fleet. Their systems are complex but not incomprehensible, he explained to Eliza. They use quantum entanglement for instant communication across vast distances, but there's a pattern to it, a code I might be able to crack. Kevin's team worked day and night to develop a virus that could infiltrate the Empire's network. Unlike traditional computer viruses, this one didn't try to destroy their systems outright. Instead, it introduced tiny errors that would compound over time. Think of it like adding a grain of sand to a gear, Kevin explained. One grain does nothing, but add enough and eventually the machine stops working. Dr. Lisa Franklin, an expert in psychological warfare, led the second team. Their job was to create a message that could inspire the controlled species to resist. Every culture has stories of freedom fighters, Lisa told her team. Every sentient being understands the concept of self-determination. We need to tap into that universal desire. They created what they called a freedom package, a collection of Earth's most inspiring artistic achievements, philosophical concepts about liberty, and carefully selected historical accounts of successful rebellions against overwhelming odds. The Empire dismisses art and emotion as inefficient, Lisa explained. That's their blind spot. They don't understand the power of inspiration. Meanwhile, Major Peterson worked with military leaders to prepare Earth's defenses. They knew they couldn't win a direct conflict, but they could make any invasion costly. We need to be unpredictable, he instructed. The Empire values efficiency above all else. Chaos is their weakness. As the deadline approached, final preparations were made. The virus was hidden within what appeared to be surrender terms. The Freedom Package was disguised as an offering of Earth's knowledge, and a direct challenge was prepared for the Empire's leadership. 2 days before the deadline, Eliza met with the delegation that would deliver humanity's response. She would lead the mission herself. This is our one shot, she told them. If we fail, Earth becomes just another conquered planet. The night before the mission, Noah found Eliza staring out a window at the alien ship still visible in the night sky. Nervous? He asked, joining her. Terrified, she admitted, but also hopeful. We've always been our own worst enemies, divided by borders, religion, politics. Now we're finally united. Noah nodded. Nothing like an alien invasion to put things in perspective. If we survive this, Eliza said, maybe we can remember what it felt like to work together as one species. When we survive this, Noah corrected her. I've got a good feeling about our plan. The next morning, Eliza's small craft launched toward the Empire's command ship. She carried humanity's response personally. The package contained the virus embedded in apparent surrender terms, the freedom transmission disguised as cultural offerings, and a direct challenge to the Empire's leadership. As they approached the massive alien vessel, Eliza broadcast their message. Dominion Vessel Prime, this is Commander Eliza Carter of Earth. I bring our world's formal response to your ultimatum. The emissary's face appeared on their communication screen. Your surrender is accepted. Prepare for boarding and processing. We have not come to surrender, Eliza replied. Humanity does not submit. We propose an alternative. Face us in direct. Neural interface. Your leadership against ours. If you truly believe your way of existence is superior, prove it, mind to mind. The emissary's perfect face showed confusion for the first time. This was not an anticipated response. Unpredictability is our specialty, Eliza said. While the emissary consulted with its superiors, Eliza's pilot carefully positioned their craft. The virus was already transmitting on frequencies the Empire used for internal communications. After several minutes, the emissary returned. Your proposal is rejected. Prepare for immediate resource extraction. Before you begin, Eliza said quickly, we wish to share our knowledge as a final offering. Our art, our philosophy, our understanding of freedom. Consider it payment for a quick end. She transmitted the freedom package directly to the ship's communication system. At first, nothing happened. Then alarms began to sound on the alien vessel. Back on Earth, Kevin watched his screens intently. The virus is spreading, he reported to the command center. It's working faster than we expected. Throughout the Empire's fleet, small disruptions began occurring. Some ships lost power briefly. Others showed unusual movement patterns. Communications between vessels became erratic. On several ships, subjugated aliens began acting independently. The neural control was weakening as the virus disrupted the signal patterns. The Resistance, recognizing the opportunity, launched coordinated actions across the fleet. Eliza's craft hovered near the command ship, watching as chaos spread through the Empire's perfectly ordered fleet. 3 of the largest ships suddenly broke formation, their commanders having chosen to ally with humanity and the Resistance. Emissary 12 to Earthcraft. The communication came suddenly. What have you done? We've reminded the beings under your control what freedom feels like, Eliza replied. Efficiency isn't everything. Sometimes a little chaos is exactly what's needed. The command ship began firing on other vessels. The perfect formation of the Empire's fleet dissolved into disarray as internal power struggles erupted between those still loyal to the Empire and those fighting for freedom. Eliza's pilot turned their craft back toward Earth. They had done what they could. Now they could only watch and hope their plan had created enough disruption to give humanity a chance. The sky above Earth filled with light as alien ships fired upon each other. From the ground, it looked like new stars appearing and disappearing. Few people knew what was really happening, that humanity's desperate plan was working better than anyone had dared to hope. Eliza's small craft raced back to Earth as the battle raged above. Their communication system crackled with messages in dozens of alien languages. "What are they saying?" she asked Sam, who was monitoring the transmissions. "It's hard to translate everything," he replied, "but many ships are declaring independence from the Empire. Others remain loyal and are trying to regain control." Their craft shook as a stray energy beam passed nearby. Noah's skilled piloting kept them from being hit directly, but the close call reminded them of the danger. "We need to get back to ISDC and coordinate the next phase," Eliza said. Back at headquarters, Kevin watched as his virus spread through the Empire's systems. It wasn't just causing communication errors anymore. Now it was actively weakening the neural control signals. "It's working," he shouted as new data appeared on his screen. "The Resistance is taking over ships all across the fleet." General Owens studied the tactical display showing the positions of the alien vessels. "Not all of them," he cautioned. "At least half the fleet is still under Empire control, including the command ship." President Bennett joined them, looking tired but determined. "What's our status?" "The virus is working, and the Freedom Package is spreading through their network," Kevin reported. "But we're not out of danger yet." As if to emphasize his point, several loyal Empire ships began moving into attack position around Earth. Their weapons powered up, glowing with deadly energy. "They're preparing to attack," General Owens said grimly. President Bennett squared her shoulders. "Activate all defenses, and get me a direct line to the command ship." Eliza's craft landed at ISDC just as the first Empire ships fired on Earth. Their targets weren't cities but military installations, a small mercy. The planet's hastily prepared defenses responded, launching counterattacks that seemed pitiful against the alien technology. But something unexpected happened. As the Empire ships fired on Earth, 3 other alien vessels moved to protect the planet. These ships, now controlled by resistance forces, placed themselves between Earth and the attackers. "We have allies," Noah said in amazement as they watched the defensive action on the command center screens. Eliza nodded. "The enemy of my enemy." The battle in space continued for hours. More ships joined the resistance side, while the loyal Empire forces fought with cold efficiency. Earth's defenses, though primitive compared to alien technology, added to the chaos that disrupted the Empire's carefully calculated battle plans. As dawn broke over ISDC headquarters, a new message came through. It was from the Resistance leader, aboard one of the ships protecting Earth. "The control signal is weakening," the alien reported. "Many more are joining our side, but the command ship is preparing a final attack. They would rather destroy Earth than lose it to the Resistance." The command center fell silent as everyone processed this news. They had come so far, but it might not be enough. "There must be something else we can do," Eliza said, breaking the silence. Grace, who had been analyzing biological samples from the ship, looked up suddenly. "I think there is. The neural control works through specific frequencies that affect brain chemistry. What if we broadcast a counter-signal?" "Can we do that?" President Bennett asked. "Maybe," Kevin replied, already typing rapidly. "If Grace can identify the exact frequency and pattern." "I already have," Grace said, handing him a data drive. "It's all here." Kevin worked frantically to create a broadcasting system while Grace refined her counter-signal. Outside, the battle continued to rage. More Earth defense installations fell under alien fire, but the Resistance ships fought bravely to protect the planet. "Ready to broadcast," Kevin announced finally. "But we'll need to get closer to the command ship for maximum effect. Our signal isn't strong enough to reach from here." Noah stepped forward. "I'll fly it up. My fighter can carry the broadcasting equipment." "It's too dangerous," Eliza objected. It's our only chance, Noah replied simply. While Noah's fighter was being prepared, Eliza received unexpected news. The small alien with translucent skin she had met on the Empire ship, designation 897 of the Luminar, had somehow made its way to Earth and was requesting to speak with her. The alien was brought to ISDC under guard. It looked even smaller on Earth, its translucent body revealing organs working hard to adapt to Earth's gravity. "Why are you here?" Eliza asked. "To help," the alien replied, its musical voice stronger and more natural than Eliza remembered. "The freedom message you sent weakened my control implant enough for me to escape. Others are fighting from within, but the command ship is heavily shielded." The alien explained that the command ship contained the central control system that maintained neural dominance over all subjugated species. If that system could be disrupted even briefly, the Empire would lose control permanently. "Your broadcast plan might work," the alien said, "but you need to target the exact center of the command ship. That's where the control system is located." Noah memorized the coordinates provided by the Luminar. His fighter was loaded with the broadcasting equipment, and final checks were completed. "This is our last shot," General Owens told him. "Make it count." Noah nodded. "I will." As he prepared to board his fighter, Eliza approached him. "Be careful. Up there?" she said. "Always am," he replied with a small smile. "See you when it's over." Noah's fighter launched into the battle-filled sky. The resistance ships provided cover, clearing a path toward the massive command vessel. Empire ships tried to intercept him, but the smaller fighter was fast and maneuverable. From ISDC, everyone watched Noah's progress on tracking screens. His fighter took several hits but kept going. When he reached broadcasting range of the command ship, he activated Grace's counter signal. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then all across the fleet, Empire ships began to falter. The neural control was weakening. The command ship fired on Noah's fighter, scoring a direct hit, but not before the counter signal had done its work. "Noah," Eliza called into the communication system. No response came from the damaged fighter, but the effect of his mission was immediate and dramatic. All across the fleet, liberated aliens took control of their ships. The command ship itself fell silent, its weapons powering down as internal rebellion spread through its crew. 3 hours later, a message came from the fleet. The Empire's leadership had been overthrown. The subjugated species were free for the first time in generations. Earth was safe. A search team found Noah's fighter drifting in orbit. Against all odds, he had survived, protected by his fighter's emergency systems. 1 week later, representatives from Earth met with leaders of the newly liberated species. What had begun as a threatened invasion had transformed into the beginning of a new alliance. "The Galactic Empire targeted Earth," Eliza said during the first meeting. "They gave us only one warning, never suspecting that we would not just survive but help free an entire galaxy." The Luminar representative, now calling itself by its original name, Lyra, responded. "Your species' love of freedom, your unpredictability, your emotions that the Empire considered weaknesses, these were exactly what was needed to break chains that had held us for centuries." As the meeting continued, plans were made for cooperation and mutual defense. The former Empire worlds would need time to rebuild their own cultures and societies. Earth would need help developing new technologies for space travel and defense. Standing at the window of the conference room, Eliza looked up at the night sky. The alien ships were still visible, but now they represented hope rather than threat. Humanity had faced extinction and instead found its place among the stars. One warning had been given, one chance to submit. But humans had always been bad at following orders, especially from bullies. And now, because of that stubborn defiance, an entire galaxy was free.